It's the 14th of April, Rabbi Levitt. Not sure what we're doing. Did we finish the 10 plagues?
I don't think so, actually. Um, how far did we get?
I have all kinds of notes on my where I'm trying to relate everything together. They're all like discombobulated. I really should go through this and make a spreadsheet and put down like, mimer number meaning plague number meaning correspondence, psukim, so I can have things organized a little bit because I've got notes all over the place here.
Yeah, that's a nice project.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
So we yeah, this is based upon the Maharal, who draws the parallel between the Asara Maimaros and the Maimaros that were said when the Makos were inflicted upon the Mitzrim. He doesn't go into here exactly what the Maimaros were when the Makos were inflicted upon the Mitzrim.
Right.
But that would probably be maybe in the Medrash. That's the source of that.
Right.
Oh boy, look at this. Oh, they even have this famous story of the Noda Yehuda. Okay. Wow. How do you like that? Okay. Great. Okay, so that'll be a story to tell the grandchildren. Okay, so you want to continue?
Yeah.
So trying to figure out where we got up to.
The last note I have is we have fire in the hail, and that relates to the rakia, which is separation. We have the fire and water mixed together in the hail, as opposed to the creation of the rakia, which is the separation of the waters from the waters.
Right. Right. It wasn't over there a separation of fire and water, but it was a separation of the Maim, the upper, the Maim Elyonim and the Maim Tachtonim.
Right. Right.
And
So I'm wondering if in the primordial world, when we're talking about a situation where matter is not in the form it is today, it's extremely hot. It's plasma. It's particles flying around at huge speeds, whatever. And there's no atoms because the speeds are too fast. What does Mayim represent in that world? it could be that it's representing fire in the sense of energy, that there's this huge amount of energy, and it's all mixed together.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the separation of the upper mayim and the lower mayim is actually separating fire from water and energy from matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I hear. Interesting idea.
Yeah, because you have to think about the definition of these words that context. They're not exactly the same as their meaning in common parlance.
Well, there is actually a medrash that the mime, when Hashem separated the mime, and the mime tachtonim was separated and placed where it was placed. In this world, it complained because it wants to be in the more holier areas, in the upstairs, in the Rakia, in the celestial spheres, and all that. And this world, it wasn't so interested. So Hashem said, "Don't worry, you're going to be. We're going to bring you on the mizbeach on Sukkot." Uh,
Rabbi, you got blasted out with a buzzing sound. Could you repeat the last sentence, please?
so Hashem appeased the Mayim Tachtonim and said that you have a very exalted uh, uh, job as well, because your job is going to be that Klal Yisrael is going to pour water libations on the Mizbeach on Sukkot. So it seems like we're talking over there about water, actual water, like the Klal Yisrael used to pour uh, on the Mizbeach.
Right.
Okay. At any rate, so that was Borad. That was Borad, and Borad is the Borad will be the fifth Makkah. We have
No, seventh.
make a mistake here. They say here the Barad and the sixth statement of creation.
I have the third statement of creation.
Okay, so we have to know the makas better, I think. We have to clarify what are the makas.
Right.
So we have the tzach, adash, bachav. Rabbi Yehuda divided them into three categories.
Right.
So the tzach stands for Adam, Svardea Kinim, as the first three. Adash is Arov, Dever, Shchin. And you're right, the seventh one is Barad. So something seems to be Something seems to be not in order over here. You're right that the seventh Makkah of Borat corresponds to let there be a firmament. That was talking about. Yeah. The Makkah board corresponds to the utterance of creation, Vayomer Elokim Yehi Rakia. And that one is the third mimer. So why does the headline of this of this little vort that he's saying over here, the Barad and the sixth statement of creation, looks like they made a mistake, doesn't it?
It's the sixth pasuk of Breshis.
Yeah, I think yeah, maybe that's why they wrongly said six instead of three.
Yeah, they were looking at the sixth pasuk and they said six instead of three. I think that would explain it.
Well, I have to have this is an art scroll book. I have to have read a letter to art scroll.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Can't believe everything you read.
That's why we need rabbis and students to look at this stuff and figure out what's right.
Okay, so that's Borad. Yeah. That's Borad. Okay. Okay, so after Borad is Aleph is Arbe. So the eighth Makkah is Arbe.
So I have a note on that it corresponds to the creation of the trees, which is the fifth mimer, and
Right.
the commonality is that the locusts were supposed to eat the trees, and they didn't do it. And the trees were supposed to taste like their fruit, and they didn't do that.
Right. Right. Correct. Good. You got it. Okay, so that's the correspondence. Oh, so we okay. So we see that there's a similarity over there that they didn't listen, but is there an essential panemiastic correlation between the? Yes, of course, because you're saying that Hashem created. Um, 1 second. Um, mm, oh, getting mixed up over here, really. Just getting mixed up. Okay, so the Arbe consumed all the vegetation. Maharal states that this was a reiteration of Totse Haaretz Eitz Pri Osa Pri, the command that the earth give forth trees and fruits. Right. Oh, and what's confusing me is I thought we said that we're going according to the the system of the Vilna Gaon, and the first mimer was the last mimer was the creation of the trees. Where's the creation of the trees?
I have it as mimer 5.
Yeah, so that is Mimer 5 is V'yomer Elokim Tad Shei Haaretz. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Oh, and that's and we're it's interesting. It's very similar to Pasuk Haftes. It's rather similar. If you have a Chumash in front of you, you could see the similarity.
Okay, so we're talking about 11 and 29.
Yeah.
So 11 says, let the earth sprout vegetation of plants bringing forth seed, trees of fruit yielding fruit after its kind, which have their seed in them on the earth. That's 11. And 29 says, I have given you all herbage yielding seed that is on the surface of the earth, and every tree that has seed yielding fruit. It shall be for you for food. Yeah, they're pretty similar.
Right. Um, okay. It's another Vayomer Elokim. So according to Vilna Gaon, he says that this is the 10th mimer in his system of the Asara Maimoros.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. I have the 10th mimer being sustenance.
Right. I mean, if you look in the okay, so according to what we're saying, then we're saying that the what do we have over here? We're talking about Arba. Yeah, Arba is the eighth makkah,
Right?
and they're eating up the everything on the trees. The tree itself they didn't eat up, but they ate everything on the tree, and that's the corresponding makkah to the mimer, which brought the vegetation into existence.
Right.
Okay, so that's pretty clear according to the way that we've been explaining it. The creation, the Asara Maimaros are involved with bringing into being, bringing into a reality these different uh, forms of creation. And the Makos are demonstrating that Hashem is in charge of the continued existence of all of these creations because he can send his messengers, such as the locusts, and they can consume all of that creation that Hashem created. So you see that Hashem is by saying that Hashem is the one who's continues to control the trees and the vegetation. So that's the uh, that's the manifestation and the proof of the fact that he originally brought them into being. So that's okay. So that's the eighth makkah. That's the eighth makkah. And now we got the ninth makkah. The ninth makkah is Hoshech.
Darkness.
Yes. Pes Hoshech. And this is very easy to understand. I think they're going to This is the Choshech, Makkah of Choshech corresponds to oh boy. Ninth Makkah corresponds to the second mimer. The second mimer is Yehi Or. Let there be light.
Right.
Yom Elokim, let there be light. What's interesting is that the one that I'm Rev Gladstein, he's the one who composed this Agoda. He had a shear about this, that in fact the Makkah of Choshech, of darkness, what was the darkness? He says that the darkness was the Hashem brought back the Or Hagonos from Sheshis Yemei Bereshis, from the time of creation. And that was the darkness because it was so, the light was so brilliant, it was blinding, and there was no way to see. That was the Choshech.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he has a whole, he developed a whole shear on that. But that's just in a nutshell what it was all about. And so that's the ninth Makkah corresponding to the second mimer. And there you have an exact reversal correspondence relationship.
Right.
And then the last one, the 10th Makkah, Makkah's Bechoros, that'll correspond to the first mimer. Now that needs explanation. The first mimer, according to the Vilna Gaon, is Bereshis Bara Elokim, Es Hashemayim V'Ha'aretz. So because this was an issue of the Gemara. The Gemara actually discusses the Asar Maimaros. And the Gemara asks, this is, if you're interested where this Gemara is, this Gemara is in Rosh Hashanah Lamed Beis. We may have taken a look at this before. Over there, the Gemara asked the question that we took a look at the parsha over there in Chumash, and we only find that there are 9 Maimoros, because they were going with the assumption that a mimer has to include the in the pasuk Vayomer Elokim, and they say we only got 9 of those. So the Gemara answers that the word Bereshis is counted as a mimer. From the word Bereshis, that was a mimer, because the definition of a mimer is that it's an utterance which brings existence in the world, that the world is created through it. Okay, so now question is, what does that have to do with Makas Bechoros? We don't see an immediate parallel connection between the two. And in this Haggadah that I have over here, this is the only thing that they say over here. They have 2 lines over here. They say Makas Bechoros, the death of the firstborn, in each and every Egyptian home, was corresponded to the first mimer, which we said was Bereshis, in the beginning. That's it. they don't go into it anymore.
Wow.
Oh, unless I have to look further on. Maybe 1 second. We'll give them a chance. Uh, no, I don't see any. Oh, 1 second. He's oh, he's what's he say over here? Marcus Bechoris represented the reaffirmation of the first utterance of creation, Bereshis, because we said Bereshis was the first mimer. We now understand this to be the creation of time. The 10th Makkah was thus the recreation of time. How is it the Makkah that was the recreation of time? Okay, so the point doesn't seem to be so developed over here. Maybe we have to. He's oh, here. Listen to this. Oh, do we have time? It's already 11:35.
We're supposed to go till 12.
Oh, right. I'm getting mixed up. Okay, so so we have a question on the table. What's the connection between Makis Bechoros and the first mimer of Bereshis?
Right.
So sometimes what Chachamim do is they answer question number one by asking question number two and answering question number two, and by way of answering question number two, we see an answer to question number one.
Okay.
So this is what he's going to do over here. He's on his way to answering our first question, but in the meantime, he's asking a second question over here. What's the second question? He says like this. We can now appreciate why the Torah chose to place the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh immediately before the last of the plagues, Makis Bechoros. Oh, 1 second. I think he asked this question before.
Right.
He asked this question. Right? It's an excellent question. I never. It's where is it that he asked this question? Okay, anyway, I don't see it right now, but this is what he says. Yeah, somewhere else he asked this question. In other words, if you take a look in the Chumash, you'll see that the in between we should take a look in the Chumash, should get a Shmos, and see where do we find this Chodesh Hazeh Lechem. Where do we find it? This is going to be in Shmos Yud Beis. We have a Sefer Shmos here. Now we're going to have to go get one. Okay.
Yeah, it's Pasach base. This month shall be for you the beginning of the months. It shall be for you the first of the months of the year.
Okay. Okay. Now, okay, so right, this pasuk of Achodesh Hazeh Lechem is the beginning of chapter Yud Beis.
Right?
Now let's place what's taking place over here in the parsha at this point. If you go back to chapter 11, you see over here or even further than that. Go back to uh, chapter 10, pasuk of Aleph.
Chapter 10, Chaf Aleph.
21. So
Dark,
got it?
yeah, I got it. Darkness.
So here we're here's the makkah of darkness,
Right?
and okay, we go a few psukim, and we see that in verse 24, Paro Vayikra Paro el Moshe. Paro he summoned Moshe to the palace, and he said, go and serve Hashem like you've been asking for, and everybody can go, even the children. And then Moshe says, but we also need to bring all of our animals. So they're going to be going, men, women, children, and animals. Everything is going to be going. And then it says that Hashem hardened Paro's heart, and he didn't send them out. And then, okay, so that's the end of Makas Choshech, more or less. And then in the beginning of Yud Aleph, chapter 11, V'yomer Hashem el Moshe od nega echad avi al Paro. I'm going to bring one more makkah upon Paro ve'al Mitzrayim. Achreichen yishalach eschem mizeh. And after that, he's going to send you out. Okay. And so okay, so now we Hashem is telling Moshe about the last makkah. And he told the people also to he told Moshe to tell the people to that they should when they're going to go out during this makkah, they should ask for gold and silver from the Mitzri. Okay, and Moshe still is there in the palace. Okay, in any case, I want to, what I want from this. What I want from this is the following thing. When we get to Moshe is still there, in other words, in the palace, and now he's talking to Paro, and he said there's going to be Makas Bechoros. This starts with verse 4 of chapter 11. Yomer Moshe Ko Amar Hashem Kachatzus Alayla. Oh, so that's very important. This is going to happen at Chatzos Alayla, at midnight. This is what Hashem says. Ko Amar Hashem Ani Yotzei B'tok Mitzrayim. I'm going to go out in the midst of Mitzrayim. Umeis Kol Bechor Be'eretz Mitzrayim, and every firstborn in Mitzrayim is going to be mace. It's going to be nifter. So Moshe is announcing the last makkah to Paro. That's what he's doing. Okay, and then it says that Moshe left Paro's presence. He left Paro's presence in anger. And then it says, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe. Hashem said to Moshe, he's not going to listen to you. Fine. And then it says, and then we have the parsha of HaChodesh Hazeh Lechem, the beginning of chapter 12. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aaron be'eretz Mitzrayim le'mor HaChodesh Hazeh Lechem Rosh Chodoshim. Hashem, here the Torah relates that Hashem told to Moshe and to Aaron in Mitzrayim, saying, this month, HaChodesh Hazeh Lechem is yours. Rosh Chodoshim Rishon Hu Lechem L'Chodsh HaShana. Now, and then he proceeds to tell them all about the Korban Pesach. Dabru el kol adasi Yisrael leimor be'asel HaChodesh, on the 10th of the month, v'yikhu lehem ish sel beis avos sel bais. Tell them that on the 10th of this month, they're going to take for themselves a shepsel and the rest of the parsha over there. Okay, so what do we want to know? We want to know that the sequence in the Torah seems to be out of sequence, I believe. And that's what he says over here. We can now appreciate why the Torah chose to place the mitzvah of Kiddush. The question is, what is Kiddush HaChodesh doing over here? Immediately before the last of the 10 Makas Bechoros. I'm just trying to figure out, is it chronologically correct? Okay, anyway, let's just see what he says over here. Let's just let him talk. Let him do the talking. Fine. He says we can now appreciate this, why the Torah chose to place the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh immediately before the Marcus Bechoros. And so Rashi, in the very beginning of Sefer Bereshis, in the beginning of the entire Chumash, he discusses why the Torah starts with the account of creation. And Rashi says over there, Lo hayat sorik laschil es atorah ela me'achodesh hazelachem. Shehi mitzvah rishona shenitztavu bo Yisrael. Rashi says in the very first comments of the Chumash, why didn't the Torah start with the first mitzvah that Hashem gave to Klal Yisrael? The first mitzvah was Achodesh Hazelachem. That would have been the place to start the Torah, says Rashi. So Rav Gladstein says, instead of beginning with Bereshis, the Torah should have opened with the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh. Therefore, when the 10 utterances of creation are reiterated and verified through the Eser Makos, the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh is indeed placed right before the mimer that corresponds to Bereshis. I didn't follow that. Let's see if we can read it again and try to figure it out. Instead of beginning with Bereshis, the Torah should have opened with the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh. Therefore, when the Asar Maimoros are reiterated and verified, the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh is indeed placed right before the mimer that corresponds to Bereshis. Okay, we'll leave that on the side. I'm not following his calculation over here. In any case, he says there's a deeper connection between Kiddush HaChodesh and the Maimer Bereshis that warrants placement of this mitzvah right before the re-establishment of Bereshis. The word Bereshis is often translated in the Torah in the beginning, referring to the beginning of the process of creation. So like that, we understand because of, in the beginning. But the drasha of Chazal says that no, the word Bereshis means because of Reshis, on account of Reshis. And Reshis, that refers to a unique entity such as the Torah, Klal Yisrael, or Bikurim. Hashem created the world in the merit of Torah, Klal Yisrael, Bikurim. But there's a more basic way to understand the word Bereshis. Bereshis bara Elokim. Hashem created the beginning. That's where we're translating Bereshis bara Elokim. He created time. Bereshis means the beginning of something. What does it mean, the beginning of something? You have to say that there's that means that there's time. But before Bereshis, there wasn't any time. There wasn't any such a thing. So the Bereshis bara Elokim means that Hashem created time. Because Reshis means that there's a beginning, and that implies that there is an end, that there is an achris, and so the whole concept of beginning is only understood if there is such a thing as time. Now, we might say, of course, because we live in a world of time, so it's hard for us to understand what does it mean that there could be such a thing as no time. But before creation, there was no such a thing as time. And in fact, this is the way the Vilna Gaon explains the words Bereshis bara Elokim. Hashem created time as the first act of creation. The creation is going to be a place of time. So in order to create that place, the time has to be created before the place. And when we say Baruch Shamar, we start off the Psukkah de Zimra of Shachris with the prayer Baruch Shamar. We say Baruch Oseh Bereshis, which means we're saying Hashem is blessed. He's the one who created Bereshis. He's the one who created the concept of time. And also when we say Aleinu, we say Aleinu l'shabeach, v'chule v'chule l'seis gedula liyotze bereshis. We describe Hashem as the one who is the Yotzer Bereshis. He is his greatness is testified to because he was the creator of time. Okay, now he's going to get to the connection over here. So Makas Bechoros represented the reaffirmation of the first utterance of creation, Bereshis. We now understand this to be the creation of time. The 10th Makkah was thus the recreation of time. How was the Makkah Bechora, how was that the recreation of time? I don't understand. Okay.
Well, we agree. I don't understand either.
I don't think it's so clear. I don't think it's so clear. You know, he didn't write this book. He did not write this book. He's got so many books that are attributed to his name. He doesn't have. He's whatever. I think they got to do some editing of this section over here. It's not very good.
I understand from what you just said how we get to the conclusion that Bereshis is synonymous with time. And we're turning around the sentence and saying time, Bereshis bara Elokim, time was created by Hashem. I understood that. That makes sense to me. But I don't see how you now correlate that with the death of the firstborn.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That is what we need to know. What is the connection over there? I think everything else seemed was pretty understandable.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This what he says over here, this whole section is based upon the Haggadah of Reb David Cohen. He's the Rosh Hashiva of Yeshivas Hebron here in Eretz Yisrael. And maybe if we have an opportunity to take a look over there, maybe he explains it better. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so we'll just finish with this. Um, this was also a question that we were asked originally. Why do we call Sefer Shmos Sefer Sheni?
Oh, right.
So Sefer Bereshis is the book of creation. Hashem created the world with Asara Maimoros, 10 utterances, and we have explained how in Sefer Shmos these 10 utterances were repeated when the 10 Makos were visited upon Mitzrayim, because we're saying that they were so to speak, a reenactment of the Asara Maimoros. We see in their correspondence. So Hashem's role as creator was thus reaffirmed as a result of the Eser Makos. Hashem's power was authenticated as even the most ardent naysayers were humbled into admitting their folly in the face of Hashem's recreating the world. In a sense, the 10 Makos were a creation take two. So in referring to Sefer Shmos as Sefer Sheni, book 2, the Bahag is not labeling it the second book of the Torah. Rather, the title highlights the Sefer's identity as the sequel to Sefer Bereshis.
The second book of creation.
Right.
Very nice.
That's what it is. Okay, so he answered that question. Good.
All right, thank you, Rabbi. It's a good session.
Okay, Baruch Hashem.
Same time tomorrow?
Bez Hashem.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Okay,
My wife makes any plans, I'll let you know.
right. Likewise. We're all just too wiped out to go anywhere or do anything today.
Yeah, us too. All right, take care. Have a good day.
Okay, all the